Now, some of our public institutions have done well over the period in terms of digitizing their processes and services, and then also trying to optimize things and making sure they perfect their customer service. If I ask you to mention one, Nathan, which institution would you say in Ghana so far is doing well, improving their quality of service, getting better?
Wow. The last one, I said DVLA. Okay, my experience with DVLA, the last time I went there was good.
So DVLA is perfect.
Was good.
Fantastic.
The passport office, when I was getting my new passport, was okay. But of course, in both offices, I applied for premium service. So yes, I don't know what the experience is for those.
The everyday one.
For the everyday one, because of the exigency, I had to pay for premium. But yes, my experiences at DVLA and the passport office, a few years ago was fine. My experience there was fine. My experience at DVLA, this was a few months ago, was also good.
Sky, top of mind, which institutions would you say, public institutions in particular, they've perfected or they are getting better? Their customer service, their delivery, turnaround time, how they handle customers are good. So that even if you're a frustrated Ghanaian, you walked into their office, you come back and like, oh, this is the place. I have hope. I'm going to give my best.
Well, I mean, I will go with Nathan and also go as far as adding the National Identification Authority,
NIA,
okay. And then also the Birth and Death Registry. I mean, they are doing. Of course, the system is not foolproof, right? You still have these challenges that, comments like, oh, we don't have papers to print, or this one system is down and all of that, or the cards have this issue or that issue. But if you look at where we've come from and where we are now, you can say with some certainty that indeed processes have become better. As Nathan said, if you go to the premier, what do you call it? The headquarters of the DVLA. The last time I was there, yes, great service. They give you tea to drink. I don't know whether it was because I'm Richard Sky.
Okay,
but
that's a good point.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I'm driving at a point, right? So this young doctor I told you earlier, I met in this was Radisson Blu, close to Heathrow. There was an event, the Ghana Association of Ghanaian Doctors and Dentists in the UK. Something like that, and he was a member. When I asked him whether he was going to come back, so guess what? He's back in town, and then he went to the DVLA. He tried to renew his license, and he's shared on social media an experience he had at the Premium Service Center. Okay. He wasn't too happy about it, and he's actually garnered a lot of comments and a lot of people sharing their experiences along those lines. Now, here's the thing: we have institutions like the Passport Office, DVLA, who have been doing well. And we have encouraged them. We have lauded their leadership for bringing transformation to that. Some will go as far as adding the Ghana Police.
Yeah, Ghana Police. Yes, I mean, that's also remarkable.
Of course, in doing so, in bringing about change, there are some examples and a few occasions where things get wrong that, as much as we laud them and commend them for, we need to also point out so that they sort of keep up the good work, because we've been happy with the change we have seen. So if there is something that is going to dent that change, we would also sort of put it out there. So his name is Justice Boachi Apia.
Okay.
He's a Ghanaian doctor in the UK, back in Ghana. And maybe I should let you read this experience that he pens on social media.
Oh, that's a lengthy one. It says that long one. DVLA Ghana, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority Ghana, has caused me to raise my voice at someone for the first time as long as I can remember. Now, against popular advice, I opted to personally go to their Premium Service Center today to renew my driver's license instead of doing connections. Now, I arrived at the Premium Center at the headquarters at 1:55 p.m. By 2:20 p.m., I had completed the eye test. A lady at the application forms desk asked for my number so she could send me a code. She tried twice, but the code did not come through. So she asked for a few minutes to look into the system. A few minutes later, she returned to inform me that they had a different phone number in the system. I was surprised because my phone number has been the same since 2004. When she mentioned the number in the system, it only differed from my correct number by 1 digit.
Okay.
My number ends in 245, but their system had 246. She reassured me that they were going to fix it, and so to wait a few more minutes. I waited for another 50 minutes without resolution. To be fair to the lady, I saw her walk to an office twice to follow up, but all she kept saying was that it was taking time. Mind you, this is a premium service center, which was advertised as a 30-minute service. I requested to see the manager, and he asked me to pay another 130 Ghana cedis to have the phone number corrected. How am I to pay for a mistake I did not cause? Or he said, how am I to pay for a mistake I did not cause? Clearly, this was an error from DVLA. The guy, name withheld for now, asked me to go and find whoever entered it into the DVLA system to correct it for me, because the problem was above him. So I asked him why he would not escalate it to his boss if he felt it were above him. Now, this manager looked into my eyes and told me to go and speak to the CEO myself if I wanted it escalated. That's when I lost it. There were 2 other men who had spent over 4 hours there with the same problem. They heard what the guy said and jammed in because they couldn't believe it. Until this point, I had been calm, but we all lost it at this point. Within five minutes of raising our voices, the correction was miraculously effected. They had been calling whoever was supposed to effect the change, but he wasn't picking up the phone. Just when we raised our voices, he mysteriously appeared to fix the problem. People had been waiting for a resolution to for over 4 hours at a premium service center charging premium fees. When we complain about politicians, about ECG, about the clergy, about whoever, you wonder who the complainants are, because things left in the hands of civil servants. No, let me take that again. You wonder who the complainants are, because things left in the hands of civil servants who join in the complaint wagon seem to be worse off. At the time of leaving, 2.5 hours later, the 2 gentlemen were still there with no resolution to their problem. And the manager was asking us to go to the CEO if we wanted. I refused to call any big person. It shouldn't get there. The system should run. I assured them that this would not be the end of it, and it really wouldn't be. All the noise about digitization, smoothing of processes, and removal of guru boys will make no sense if we cannot fix such silly human elements. I've been livid. Just last week, Opoku, Nshira, and I were with some police officers when they arrested a man who had been driving for over 20 years with an expired license. Maybe that's what we all want. Shaking my head. And I must say that
a lot of comments.
Lots of comments.
More than 100 comments and people sharing.
Yeah, over 150. Yeah, so many people have commented. For instance, this one is coming in from Manfred, who says the same story 6 months ago. Ditto. I just couldn't wrap my head around having to pay an authority for a mistake they obviously made. I kept asking them to come up with a different story. This one from Alexander says that they prefer the arithmetic progression in 246. On a more serious note, nothing would change. I have given up, unfortunately. After ranting on Facebook about STC last weekend, I have gotten 2 separate reports of similar STC bus wrecks this week. We all go left this country. So you see, people getting frustrated say they want to leave. And this one, for instance, from Angela says, I barely spend an hour at DVLA during such exercises, and it's not even premium or whatever they call it. I have never ever joined a queue at DVLA before, even with my international driver permit. It took me close to an hour to get it done and printed, just because of where my husband works and the relationship they have with these people. It's quite unfortunate on your part. The system in Ghana only favors a few privileged people. And this one from Moses says, this is Ghana. If everything works correctly, how would people get Noko feel? So a lot of comments have come in. And quickly, there's this one from Elaine, who says, I had a similar experience last year too. I was told my car number had been stored wrongly, although it was clearly written on my card. Now,
but whose fault was it?
The lady who was inputting the information told me I had to pay a similar amount to get it rectified. And I'm like, I have to pay for your mistake? It's ridiculous. I couldn't pay. I didn't pay, but I had to leave for work whilst the correction was being made. So the DVLA sticker was delivered to me later. And guess who had to bear the cost? The system is really messed up. They just try to find ways and means of extorting money from people they think can afford to pay more. Sad. You see, these are really, really disturbing accounts of what allegedly is happening at DVLA. And I think institutions of state and businesses generally, private or public, have got to understand that when you, in putting in details of a person into a system, if that goes wrong, it is from your side.
Yes.
Right?
Clearly, I didn't enter.
Yeah, that's right. So you can't possibly be asking, and if the report is to be believed, asking the customer in this case to pay for your, mistake. No, it is just completely unacceptable. Because it's not like he was sitting at home, opened the interface on his laptop and put in the details and made a mistake. And therefore, when he came and submitted his documents, you realize that, the name that is on your Ghana card is not the same as the name that is in the system because you had clicked an E instead of a Y. Do you understand? So in correcting that, with the greatest respect to the guys, the people at DVLA, it cannot be that the customer would have to pay for it. And I have very, very serious doubts if the payments that they were demanding, there's some official backing for it. And if there is an official backing for it, it cannot be acceptable. Because in any case, you are, according to the reports, the ones who made the mistake.
Yeah.
So go into the system and correct it. I'm not so sure what administrative cost would have been incurred by simply going into the system to correct a mistake that you allegedly made. Correct it, let's make progress. It's not like the person has come to you and says that, I have changed my address, or that I have changed my name, I've changed my details, so please.
I made a mistake.
So let's alter those.
Yeah.
You see, the reason those payments would be charged on someone who made a mistake is to ensure that, look, because you pay for effecting the right changes, you have to be mindful when you are putting the details in.
Yep.
You understand? So, because you know that, if I make a mistake and I go to DVLA, they will have to charge me for the mistake that I have made. You'll be more rigorous. You'll be more diligent in how you feed your details into the system.
Yeah.
But if you have a data entry officer there, and he made a mistake according to the reports, and if the reports are to be believed, and the person has come to you and said that, look, that is not my number. You entered the wrong details into the system. With the greatest respect to the leaders there, I think it's completely unacceptable if the reports are to be believed, to be charging them. And then also, you see, the systems must begin to speak to each other, right?
Yeah.
According to the story, his number moved from 5 to 6.
Yeah. So it ends with 2, 4, 5, and then now what do you rather have?
Somebody
2,
clicks
4, 6
exactly.
Also, yeah.
You see, in a system that is working properly, the systems are speaking to each other. His details are National Identification Authority.
Yeah.
And if you see how the capacity of that card, the information it is capable of carrying, what it can do in Ghana and what it can do externally, there is no way we should have a new interface at DVLA or some other institution where people are having to manually enter details of persons coming in.
So because of his Ghana card, once he produces it at the DVLA, they should be able to automatically access his information.
Because it is possible to compartmentalize what information is available to the Food and Drugs Authority, what information is available to the Ghana Revenue Authority, what information is available to the Passport Office, what information is available to the DVLA. That can be done given the capacity of the card that we have. So that if you go to the DVLA, the specific information they need on you, your name, your date of birth, other relevant details, so that when you key your Ghana card into the system, because it is DVLA and because the protocols, and I'm using protocols in a technical sense, because the protocols allow DVLA officers to see only this type of information, not your health records or some other information not relevant for their purpose, that will come up. And then that will be the input for the card that will be produced, which is the output for you, right? But that is not what we have. In many cases, the Electoral Commission, for instance, I can't see why the life of me, we're still in this country after having collected so many data on people across the country, produce the national ID card. We still have people going to queue to register their details for the EC to compile a register. It doesn't make sense to me, with the greatest respect. And it is a waste of the limited resources that we have as a country. Why am I saying so? The Ghana card has details of you sitting here. If you have to go to the Electoral Commission to register, all you need to do is to produce the card. It has a unique, number, a number that is unique to only you. It is not possible that Nathan can use the same number.
No way.
Your thumbprint is not the same as Nathan's thumbprint. Your biometrics generally not the same as if they took your pupil, whatever, for instance. It is not possible that yours will be similar to Nathan's.
Yeah.
So once you hand that card over to the EC officer, it should be possible for that information to roll out of the NIA system, be fed into the EC system, and there's no need for, let us chook in this, let's put in these details. And then you have party agents going to sit there, and then there's a fight, they are choking people, people say, you are not Ghanaian, you are not this, you are not 18, you are not 18, you are 18, you are not 18. I concede that indeed, not all of us have the Ghana card. But those are isolated cases. And in those cases, special arrangements has got to be made to deal with their concerns. But the idea that every election year, we will go and vote billions in Parliament, give it to the Electoral Commission, they send people around the country, they call people to come and form queues and register. It is a waste of our resources. I do not think that the framers of the Constitution, when they were talking that the EC has a power to compile the register, that means that every year what they do is to do fresh registration. If the systems have been put in place, in the case of the NIA, for instance, where they collect the data and the data is reliable, as we have been told, rely on their data and to a great extent produce a credible register. What we are doing currently is just a waste of our resources. People should be ashamed of themselves.
It appears that as much as we are trying to digitize and move into a seamless economy where things will work for people, less frustration, reduce the queues and the time wasted in queues and all of that, sometimes it will appear that the human beings manning and influencing some of these spaces deliberately push in some of these things in order to extort money from the unsuspecting public. But the DVLA, credits to them, they use their social media handle to respond to the gentleman's post. Don't forget, we are talking about
social
the
media
DVLA.
is very engaging.
They're very engaging, very responsive, which is good. Now, the response says, we apologize for the frustrating experience you had at our service center. We understand that the error caused a delay in your driver's license renewal, and we appreciate your patience. We are investigating the matter and will take necessary steps to prevent such in the future. We value your feedback and assure you that we are committed to improving our services. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Certainly, we're also amplifying this so that, I mean, DVLA knows that they've been doing good and we've been talking about it. We've been commending them. And the same Ghanaians who were praising them when they were doing good are raising these issues as some of their people are trying to frustrate the process. So while they investigate, they should investigate this matter properly. Some of the people who have been found or who get found to be deliberately doing this, they should make examples of them. People should get to know. You know, the public should get to know. And for all those who pay those monies, are they going to return the monies to them? Is there any compensation they will pay the people? And for the people who've wasted their time and all of that, what do they make of that? Because from Justice's account, you clearly see that for those who raised their voices and made noise, their situation was fixed ASAP. But the others who are still sitting there 2 hours even prior, they are still there when Justice and his friends got their issues solved and they left. So something must be done. Our state institutions must know that, I mean, our eyes are everywhere. We are paying attention. And when they do right, we will let the world know. And if things are not going right too, we will let the world know as well.
You know, just to add, the immigration service, for instance. You know, previously when you were leaving the country, there's this card, you know, that you fail. That card just annoys me. Right?
Yeah, it's no longer in the system.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And when you're coming back again,
you'll be filling it on the fly.
Just
oh my God.
When you're sleeping, you won't sleep small, and they will come and wake you up and give you the card, and you have to fill it. And if you don't fill it, then you have a problem. You see, we have been able to take that out of the system now. You are going out, they take your passport. You know, when they scan it and do their things, details fed into the system, you go out and you come back, you have a similar treatment, and then you are out of there. Now, this is saving time. Time, we're told, is money, right? I think the DVLA, if the systems are not speaking to each other, it should be coming in from the top. The presidency has got to lead it. So that when I hand over my DVLA, my NIA card to the DVLA, all they need to do is to scan it. And all the information relevant, you know, for their purpose will be generated. And it will be consistent with what is in the system at the NIA. There should not be any. I'm getting a comment from a friend of mine who says that, well, he doesn't believe that the data is free, and if you want to use it,
not talking to each other.
Yeah, that's right. You have to apply for it and you have to pay for it. Granted, of course, the DVLA service that I'm applying for, I pay for it.
It's premium, actually.
Exactly. So if I pay for it, it should be possible to come up with a is it cost sharing? No,
right.
or profit sharing arrangement, which allows for, if the data is coming in from the National Identification Authority,
DVLA will pay a token.
Exactly. If it is 5%, you are paying 10%, 20%. That arrangement should be there so that we can ensure data integrity. But the fact that officers are making mistakes and the person applying for the service is having to pay for it, it undermines the whole system.
It does.
And this is not how it is done elsewhere. It is not how it is done elsewhere. And we need to do better. We need to do better.
So there are some messages coming in. We'll try and get feedback from the DVLA as well. But Nathan will share some of the messages we're seeing.
I think Tema, he says, I think this DVLA thing is intentionally created. I believe the records are intact, but the workers use this trick to extort money from people. Maybe we should request a printout of records the next time they ask for money for any corrections. I see. I've been to the DVLA Premium Service Center many times. I've never had a challenge. The service was quick, except for the excessive overpricing of the service. This one says, the same thing happened to me at the Registrar General. My certificate was to be ready in a month. I gave it an extra month, but when I went, I didn't get it. I had to wait for another 2 weeks. I returned, and the same story. I then started a scene. The supervisor asked the lady at the desk to check if the certificate was ready, and within minutes, she returned with it. Koku from OEB. This one says, on the basis of this lamentation, I say without apology that no institution ranks 30% in terms of customer service in Ghana. If you are not privileged or connected to a household name, forget it. The day Ghana will happen to you, you will comprehend the lamentations. Yakubu Ibn Chambers. That's true. And customer service, especially in terms of the government, the front-facing government services, has to improve. It has to be better. This was I paid premium fees for prestige services at DVLA, PC Center, and Cantonment. I spent 5 hours at the center for a service that was expected to last 15 minutes.
That's not right. That's not right. That can't be right.
Yeah.
5 hours is so much waste of your time.
Yeah. Productive man hour is gone. The systems are not working at all. I wanted to buy a passport form online, which was difficult for me. So I decided to go to the passport office. Surprisingly, I was told by an officer to find a Guru boy to help me. Wow. This was as I changed my number from AT to MTN. And when I was renewing my license, I was charged 100 CDs to update my contact details. I couldn't believe it. Charging to update my number? Wow. This was at the moment, I'm on a serious controversy with the Registrar General's Department for inputting my date of birth as 67, when I'm just 40 plus. They're asking me to pay for the correction. I told them I won't, and they told me they would not. I've left my documents with them and spoken to someone who's preparing to escalate their delay and loss to my business. The courts go here of we all to put this illegal fee matter to an end. You have a Ghana card that has a SIM card, and yet people want to enter these things manually.
It doesn't
Junior
make sense.
Blade.
It doesn't make sense.
Junior, we are backing you with the court case. This one says a similar thing happened to me at the Ghana Water Company. My meter was stolen last year, and I requested for a new one. When the new one was installed, the reader mistakenly put me on a commercial basis instead of domestic, putting me on a bill of 1,500 cedis to pay. I went to their office to get it corrected and was asked to pay the bill before the mistake could be corrected. I did all I could, but no one was ready to listen. I finally had to pay because they threatened to disconnect me if I did not pay, and I did not have a choice.
This one says, it's obvious the misnumbering is deliberate. The officer responsible for this should be simply fired. That's how to ensure that the system works as designed. It's coming in from Kweku. Many more comments coming in. This one says that, well, I alluded to this much earlier, that there's a suggestion that, maybe the systems are
not talking to each other
because of some cost. But we should move away from this. Look, elsewhere, you don't even need to go to any premium center, anything. You are sitting in the cozy comfort of your home or your office. You go online, you provide the details that you need to provide, or you key in your national ID card or whatever it may be, passport or whatever it may be. And then the system will raise all the necessary information. And then if you have to pay for the service, you pay with your bank card or whatever you have to pay online. And then you select. If it is premium, it is delivered to you in your mailbox, or if it is door-to-door delivery, that is done. You pay for it.
Good thing is Sika Antubre.
I know what you're saying.
Sika Antubre, money did not need suffering.
Okay.
But that is the name of an official at the DVLA.
Okay. Yeah. Sika Antubre.
Yeah. Okay. He is the head of brands and digital marketing.
Oh, beautiful.
So we're going to talk to Sika Antubre quickly and get more information. Sika Antubre, good morning and thank you for joining us. Last time we had you in the studio, and indeed we have confirmed our experience at your premium center in the past. Things had improved and they were getting better, but from the complaints we are seeing, getting from our listeners and what we have read so far, I'm sure it has come to your attention. It looks like the promise of premium is not being delivered. What do you have to say?
Well, thank you very much, Caleb, and good morning to everyone listening. Well, we acknowledge what happened with Justice. Personally, I was present when it happened. We apologize to him. He's got it resolved. There are two issues that need clarification. So there's something we call amendment of records, and it happens in almost all the data collection, institutions where, you put a data, you give us a data, and later you want to change your name or you change your telephone number. We realized that when the national, exercise to ensure that all numbers were registered was done, you and I know that some numbers, those were actually for, they stopped using most of it. And so when it comes to you coming to us that your number wasn't registered or you stopped using the number, you traveled, you came, your telco has not given you the number, so you're using a different number. It's an amendment of record. and we have approval of fees from the Fees and Charges Committee of Parliament to charge that. So it's not even coming from the surveyors. We don't charge the public. We are instructed or given the power to. And so when that happens, then you are charged a fee for amendment of those records, because then you have to go to a system, and it's just probably for the processing. But it's different when we realize that you have, the second issue is when we realize that we made a typo error, you are not charged for it. For instance, so the gentleman that had the issue that day, 2 of them were not charged because we realized that we made a clerical error, and so they were not charged. But one, there was a complete change of the number. When you want to completely change your number, you are amending your records. For instance, you come and maybe you're married, you change your name, and then you come to us that you want to change you want to go back to your maiden name. That is an amendment of records, and you are charged for it. What happened was probably sometimes these things will happen. We are still committed to delivering our service within the time, and I think that the service is open. Guys from you have been to the office, and without anybody assisting you, know what happened. And so this is just one off. We have taken a review of it yesterday.
Well, it doesn't appear to be one off. A good number of people are complaining about this particular issue, and it appears that a trend is being established here with respect to the inputs of people's data that your officers inputs wrongly. So it's not that they have had their data changed, but your officers are inputting this wrongly. So from your investigations, which you assured him you are going to do, what have you found out is the trend and that demand for 130 Ghana cedis from the people whose data your officers have wrongly imputed? No, are you going to pay it back to them?
So that's what I'm saying, that when you realize that it's an error from us, you don't pay. And they encourage the customer to insist on it, that this record, that is if we are sure, and there's a system we use to check that it is not fine. We have to go to the back end. And that's what causes sometimes the delay. So there was a bit of delay with justice because we wanted to ensure that it is not us who made the mistake, but it's the customer who get the wrong data. It just probably costs just about 5 minutes of time to ensure that our back end checks that. And so for those customers that have gone through this experience, we are so sorry about it. We are rectifying the situation. Yesterday, there was a meeting with the chief executive, and we are reviewing even the entire amendment issue to see where we can actually go back to. Maybe go back to Parliament and give a certain data that this is the result of a report we're having, and then we can ask for or ask that will be flashed off or something. But we are still committed to serving the public. Our service, the delivery time is still same. Yesterday, I was there myself personally almost the whole day, and then the service is as normal as it has been.
Right. So, I mean, the other pain point for a lot of people, reason why they are paying premium is time. The fact that they have to be in the queue for so long, and so they pay premium so that you're able to fast track the process for them. And the other point is what could have eliminated all this renewal, wrong input of digits, is the fact that the people have their Ghana card and all their bio data is already on the Ghana card. So why do I still need to come and give you my raw data when giving you my Ghana card you would have access to my bio data? Is NIA's system not talking to the DVLA system?
The NIA system is talking to the DVLA system as at now. We're doing the integration, is done. So for those who even registered that vehicle this year, you will need to take a selfie, a picture, and NIA system populate our system for us. So you don't tell us who you are as Caleb. You take a photo from, and NIA will tell us, okay, this is actually Caleb. These are his details. So the NIA system, as of now, we've integrated now, and so it's talking to us now. So this problem will go off. What we are doing now is to clean the data that probably was either wrongly entered or, customers if they gave us some wrong data, we're trying to clean those systems. So as of now, we won't have this problem moving forward because the NIA system is actually talking to us.
For those who have sought to renew or obtain licenses who complain that it's been months or years and they've not had access to it, have you factored in how to address their concerns? What's the problem then? How are you going to, what's the assurance you have for them?
I didn't get the question. If you can repeat.
So some of the people have also complained that in trying to access or acquire a license, they make payments, but it takes so long and it doesn't seem to be worth it. Has that come to your attention? How are you seeking to address that?
Yes. So on our social media pages, we see daily reports on this, and we address them. We are very active on our social media, on Instagram, and Facebook, on Twitter, TikTok. And so we're advising customers that if you have such an issue, you can call our lines, or you go to our Facebook and make a complaint, and we'll redirect it to the team, and it will be worked on. The challenge has been, and honestly, to Ghanaians, the challenge has been that over the past some years ago, we had people trying to go through, these guru boys and all that. These guru boys are no more in existence, I would say, properly so-called, because now you can't even deal with them because our system is like that. It's so robust, you can't come in. And so we have people who have given wrong data, people who have done a lot of wrong things in the past, probably like 10 years ago, and we are trying to rectify all those ones. And so that causes delay sometimes, and we acknowledge it. And we are saying that if you have a challenge, just call any of our customer service line or come to any of the social. Now people are really active on social media. Just put in a complaint and it will get resolved. And if you need a comment, you realize that a lot also acknowledge that yes, this was the issue that, this has been the good thing that the center has brought, but DVLA has really greatly improved. And we're just encouraging Ghanaians that the public, that please talk to us, call our call center lines, go to our social media pages and do give us a complaint. We keep getting better. And it's obvious that from all the experience that you yourself and those around listening have really gone through. We acknowledge, however, that sometimes there are shortfalls and we are rectifying them as and when they come.
So I go to one of your premium centers and I pay for those services. What's the turnaround time? What's your promise?
You should be off within an hour. It depends. But if I just do a renewal of a sticker, within 10 to 15 minutes, you should be off from our premises. And this, I'm sure today you can send a reporter, not because maybe this matter came up, but that has been consistent. Renewal, turnaround time, within 10 to 15 minutes, you have to go. But one of the things that we need to acknowledge is that when you are doing an eye test, the eye test is not part of our process in terms of the receipt center. So you do an eye test at an approved place, you bring the receipt, and when you enter our office, within 15 minutes for renewal, you should go. If you are printing the card in about an hour, you should have left our place.
Sika, how do you get customer feedback? I have a lot of comments for you. I'll be reading for you after this conversation. But how do customers engage you beyond social media, which you've already mentioned, though?
Yes. So you could call our customer service lines, or you can walk into any offices. We're actually opening more offices. We're on the Spintos Road now. We are opening from 1st July. We will be at STC, the training school. We're opening an ultra service center there. We're actually coming very close to the people. So just walk in anytime, do call us, and please, anytime. And the reason why we are promoting a lot of the social media, because people are really readily there. So you just send it to us and send us a complaint and respond instantly. If you realize justice posted and within some few minutes we came to respond because we're very active also on social media.
Which is good, but I'm also learning from Justice that because he refused to pay and made noise about it, his issue was rectified. But for the other two gentlemen whose numbers had to be changed, they had to pay 130 cedis. So I want to get an assurance from you. If your officers make a mistake in putting my data into your system, and your officers charge me to have it paid, if I come there with evidence, are you going to compensate me? And is this going to stop anytime soon?
Like I said, yesterday, the chief executive himself chaired a meeting that is reviewing the whole payment system as leaving amendments. But like I had said early on, we do not charge you if we made a mistake. It's not possible we charge you. And for those who have it, they should file the complaints. We'll look at it and get back to them. But moving forward, we are reviewing the whole process, and we are committed to ensuring that we deliver the best quality of service to the public, like we have been doing for the past 7 years.
Fair enough. Sikanto Brands and Digital Marketing, thank you for talking to us. That's Sikanto from DVLA. There's a lot we have to say in the studio and so many comments, but we'll take a very quick break.
I just want to say that, I mean, it's so refreshing hearing his concessions and the points that he had to reinforce. He's spoken well, like someone who really is feeling for the customer and then also at the same time feeling for the workers there. This is how we should talk about problems, how we're dealing with it, and what challenges we have, and all of that. I doff my hat out to him. I mean, he's spoken well.
Yeah.
You know, he's not come to say, oh, defend, blah blah. You hear that from other.
He's a lawyer. I think
but there are lawyers who do. But honestly, I think that he has truly represented DVLA well this morning. He made concessions. Or these ones we are making efforts to correct them. These ones we made a mistake. If they're charging for it, it is wrong, and blah blah blah. So yes, Sikanto.
This is how we want.
This is how we want.
So do you want timetable for the next 3 weeks?
Oh, as for the timetable, we need to take a break.